this. Right. Last week we spoke about the recording sheets. Has anybody actually looked at them?
Yes.
Yeah. Not filled it in, but I've looked at it.
Okay.
I have written some goals on a piece of paper, but not on there.
Right. Okay. Well, the whole idea is to start taking it forward. We start a new period. We've got the rest of this week. We've got till Thursday night.
Yeah.
And then we've got a new period. So the new period is where we're going to start the proper tracking of what you're doing. So the first thing is what you've got to do is to know what your goals are for next period. And there's a few main goals. The first one is a retail target, which is a personal retail target. And the second one is your recruitment target. Okay. So have either of you set those goals for next period for yourselves yet?
No.
I thought about them. I haven't actually put them down on paper yet, but I will do before
Okay.
it starts.
You say this, as I said to you, this is going to be a no holds barred meeting. We're running a business, and 3 days before the end of the period, you haven't got anything in place for the next period.
So I've got it in my head. I haven't put it on paper, but it's sort of there. It will be there by the period starting. So.
What is it, then? If you got it in your head.
Right, I'm going to go back to achieving 13% personal, which I was doing before, and it went off.
David, 13%.
And recruitment's going to be four for the period. Might not be a lot, but it's better than it has been. So it's 4 for the period, the minimum.
Sorry. 13% personal, so I'm making a note. And recruitment is what, 4?
4 minimum, yes.
Okay. Right. Right, 4 minimum. Is that just signing in, or is that activations?
That'll be activations.
4 activations.
That's the theory.
So that means 1 a week.
Yeah.
Average.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Roger.
Roger.
Okay.
I won't get them.
Right. Okay. That's all right. Lane Edge was stuck at work. Car won't start. Roger's here. Okay. No problem. Right. So that's David. Right. Esther, have you got what you need to have is something that you're gonna push you.
Okay.
As you said to me, that's your biggest problem.
It is, yeah.
Oh, but it's one of mine as well, yeah.
Okay. So you need to have some goal for you to achieve. Otherwise, the other thing is that if you don't have your own goal set and your own plan set, how the hell can you help anybody else? Because it's got to get routine. And the thing is, you should have a 12-month plan of where you want to be in 12 months' time, and then work backwards. Do you understand what I mean by working backwards?
Yeah. So you do your steps backwards to achieve what you want in 12 months.
Yeah. Okay. So if your end goal is gold distributor, which is 15 active distributors, where do you need to be in 11 to achieve that in 12? What do you need to be in 10 to achieve what you're achieving in 11, and so on?
Okay.
So that's the starting point. Well,
yeah.
Okay. So you've got to have your end goal and then work backwards. The thing on retail, the retail doesn't need to. For instance, there's a couple called Andrew and Faye Rowe, and when they joined, well, not when they joined, but they've joined and they'd got themselves to a certain level. They decided they were taking a year out recruitment, and they wanted to get 1,000 customers.
1,000 customers. Oh, that was somebody of your group?
Yeah, well, no, they're part of the bigger group. Cross line to me.
Right.
And they decided they wanted 1,000 customers, and that was their goal. And they just spent the whole year trying to develop that customer base. And what they were doing is put 1,000 catalogues out a week.
It's what they've done, 1,000 catalogue
That's
a week.
what they were doing. And they ended up at the end of the year with 974 customers. So they failed. Okay. But
is that just through catalogs?
Yeah, just catalogs. We didn't have online at that time. So they had 974 customers. But what it did for them, where they were doing 1,000 catalogs a week, they then had a situation where they were only doing 250 catalogs a week. So then when they went to customer base, dropped out on a Friday and picked up on a Monday. But that was giving them on average £4,000 worth of orders a month. Yeah, which paid them about £1,300 in cash just on their own retail. All right, but they spent a year doing that, and once they had that base, they decided they were going to build the business. We were the other way round. We were never going to do high retail. We did set an example. We went out and we did ourselves. We did £1,000 in 3 days. Do you remember that, love?
Then I just.
Yeah, we did £1,000 in just 3 days, just to prove it could be done.
Never seen so many blooming catalogues.
All right.
But if we need to show the example to the team, don't we? I mean, if we don't.
That's why I say you need to have a retail goal, because if you have a team of 15 or 20 people and nobody's doing anything, what you've got is a social club.
Well, yeah.
And nobody's making any money. All right. So you have to have a base and understand your base. It doesn't need to be a large amount. We didn't hit personal 10% until we were already gold.
So you only did your 10%.
No.
After that, after you became gold or something.
Yeah, our first period, the first 2 weeks. Basically, we did £469 in the first 2 weeks. Okay, and then what we did, second month, but our first full period, we only did £269 in personal sales, but we signed 8 people in. And the reason we were able to sign 8 people in is because we told people in our first 2 weeks we did £469. Yeah, we had a story in which we could show, because nearly all the people we signed in were people we knew. And that gave us the building blocks of growing the business. Because then we set them up right, and they went in to go out. In our second full period, we turned over as a group £4,000. Our third period, we turned over £6,000. We did £697 ourselves. In our fourth period, we turned over £8,000. And we did just over £800 ourselves. But that earned us just over £1,000, which is 250 quid a week. And we've never earned less than £1,000 a month from then on, from when we started. Okay, so we just carried on from that. That gave us the building blocks, but we put the hard work miles in recruiting or retail. So you've got to decide which way you want to go. Yeah? You want to get yourself a good retail story, but you also want to get yourself a good recruitment story. Because if you do, say, 400 quid and you sign 10 people in and do 400 quid, you're on £4,000. But you've got to have a basis. So there's a little sheet which I am going to send out to everybody later on. It's that one. Okay.
Okay.
and it just says get into gold, extra income. And
Got it on my wall in front of me.
okay,
I've got it on my wall in front of me.
okay, all right. Basically, it says here 10%, and you put in there the date and period you're going to achieve it. So it could be this period. 13% when you're going to achieve it. 15%, 18%, and so on. And it tells you how many distributors you need to get. So that if you weren't even able to do anything at all, by the time you get there, you should be gold with outside you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Some people are both retailer and recruiter. I mean, Jackie McCormick will show us how to do.
Yeah, but she started off retailing.
Pardon?
She started out retailing. Now she does both.
Yeah, she does retailing and recruiting. And she started by retailing.
Yeah. That's how most people start. They start off by retailing. Okay? Because the reason they've joined is to make money. Okay? So we're in a situation now where you've been in the business a little while. You can retail if you want to a higher level. That'll give you instant income. But you need to have a goal. It doesn't matter what your goal is, as long as you achieve it and you have a structure to work on. So that's the first thing that's really important. Then what you need is...
Did you say you were going to send us that sheet?
I'm going to send you that. I'm scanning in because I can't find it on the bloody computer.
Okay.
Could you wait to email it to us? That'll be good,
Yeah. And then what you need to have is one of these. Okay? Which is circles with your name. And then you have everybody that's frontline to you penciled in. And you do not ink them in until they're at least at 10% or done at least this, the minute. If they go out and hit £600 in their first period, or 500 bonus points, 600 quid in their first period, then I would ink them in. The idea is to get all those circles inked in. Okay. So that's two things. And the third thing is to understand that one, which is you set up a checklist and links.
Well, that's right. Oh, the checklist.
Set up checklist and links. For setting somebody up correctly.
On the 10-step site, resources site.
Yeah. Okay. And it just says here, one, set up video, watch the setup videos, post welcome group. This is what the distributor does, but you've got to know this inside out. Yeah. We just had a new lady who said to us, "Oh, it's not working for me." It's not working for you. You're not doing for full. Because we set up the group, we put 10 products in it, and she added nothing to it. She's not promoting it. She said, "Nobody's showing any interest." Well, you're not finishing it off. That makes sense. So they're the three things you've got to do. So what's going on in your head then, Esther? Is that too scary a question? Should we really
What's going on in my head?
Yeah.
I think I need to concentrate on the retail and sort myself out first, but I definitely do want to recruit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what's stopping you doing all right though? Because you said last week that you need to get your arse in gear.
Yes, I do. Now my mum's back. I've had my mum away for 4 weeks, and it completely throws me because of sorting Harvey. So now she's back, then I can concentrate on it all now.
When did she get back?
No, she is back. She got back on Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I say. So she got back on Saturday. So between Saturday and today,
yeah.
What have you done?
What have I done? Well, I didn't do anything Saturday because I saw my mum for the first time in 5 weeks. And I didn't do anything yesterday because it was my dad's 80th birthday. But today I have organised, I've done my catalogue packs ready to go out. and I've scheduled posts for my shop for the week, and that's as far as I've got today.
Okay. Have you got your products all sorted out of what you're going to post? How many people are in your group? How many people are? How many groups are you a member of? Do you know all that?
I have got them all. I've got all my groups like listed. Yeah.
Do you know how many there are?
Hang on a second.
You with me? What I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to be hard or ask people to, or try and make people look silly or this, that, and the other. It's all about me teaching you the questions that you're going to be asking your team member.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
I'm going to ask the same question to Roger in a minute. Because I noticed, and this is just while Esther's just going through that, Roger, you have what I call, there's two types of person. There's a person that just goes off and does woof everywhere, and there's people who target areas. And I would say that you're one of these people who are woof everywhere. Because I see you're posting Leicester in this, that, and the other. You know,
if I could post in Poland, I probably would do it. Yeah, but no, I mean joking. But no, you're right. I go a bit everywhere. Yeah, yeah.
The thing is that you want to work close to home initially. When I say that, you got Manchester on your doorstep. How many people live in Manchester?
Actually, I had another online this morning from a guy from Manchester. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
With me, because you've got Michelle down here in Leicester. You can't just nip around the corner and see her, can you?
No, but a lot, with the online system we have now, like Zoom and other things.
Yeah, I know.
It reduces distances, but yes, it does make sense to build your business locally. Yeah.
Initially, you want to get 10 or 15 people locally, and we say within a 40-mile radius of where you are.
Yeah.
There's 52 million people in the UK. You only need 10 or 15 within a 40-mile radius.
I mean, 52 million, that includes the kids, isn't it? So that would be 26 million adults or something?
There's 52 million people, though, still in the UK. You only need 10 or 15 people in a 40-mile radius. Yeah? Look at, for instance, I don't know. I'm just having a quick look. Population of Manchester. You've got Manchester, you've got Bolton, you've got Blackburn, you've got Manchester. Is a city and lies in Greater Manchester, which has a population of 2.55 million.
That's Greater Manchester.
Greater Manchester, 2.55 million. Do you think you could find 10 or 15 people at that 2.55 million?
I suppose you could, yeah, don't you? Because that's a tiny percentage, isn't it?
It's a tiny little number. You know, if you had one in every 100,000 people, that's 25 people. I'm sure you can find one in every 100,000. If you knocked on the door on 100,000 houses and knocked on every single door and said, "Do you want to join Clean Easy?" The odds are somebody would say yes.
Somebody did that, or is it just an example you're giving?
It's an example I'm giving. Yeah. It's been said that if you stood at Piccadilly Circus long enough, nearly everybody in the world would come by, or something, you know. Or everybody in the UK would come by at some stage or something like that. It's like if you gave an infinite amount of monkeys long enough, they would type Shakespeare's works. But what I'm saying is, if you knocked on 100,000 houses, but the odds are that at least one person would say, "Yes, I'll join your business." I don't know if you've ever heard of the bus driver. I think it was driving New York. I think it was New York. I might be totally wrong.
That was me.
Pardon?
I said that was me.
Bus driver, and he'd driven the same bus route every day for about 20 odd years. Yeah. And at the test of traffic lights, he had to always turn right. Then one day, he stopped the bus and he says, "Are these traffic lights for the last 25 years? I've always turned right. I've had enough. Now I'm going to turn left and I'm going to Los Angeles.
Excuse me. Sorry.
If you don't want to come with me to Los Angeles, get off." And 3 people stayed on the bus with him. 3 people actually stayed on the bus and went with him to Los Angeles. Okay, so the numbers, it's all about the numbers. I'm just saying is you have to have a targeted approach, because you can then target a particular area for you. You bought adverts, you bought leads. For instance, postcards in shop windows. Do you all know the different rods in the pond?
But we know about Facebook, the postcards.
It's like, need an extra income. Okay. There are more customers than we can cope with. Yeah. 18 upwards. Hours to suit male, female, or couples. You be pleasant to try how much you can earn, and then your website. Okay. The thing is, you need to, if you're going to build a business, you have to have a plan. Not just the numbers, but how you're going to do it. And if you for instance, if you decide that you're going to build a team of 10 or 15, try to do it within a 40-mile radius, there's a possibility, therefore, you could all get together at some stage. And you could actually get in your car and meet somebody and sit down with them. Whereas if you've got one over here, one over there, one over there, one over there, and once your team's grown, it will automatically grow, because let's imagine that you're here. I'm going to try and do it on a. You're here, yeah, and you're signing people here. Well, their 40-mile radius goes up here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And their 40-mile radius goes there, and there, and there, and it automatically spreads out. David's gone. That makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Because there are so many groups, you can't belong to all the groups in all the areas, can you? Can you, Roger?
No.
Can you hear me, Roger?
Yeah, I can hear
Can
you.
you belong to all the groups in all the areas?
No.
I mean, it depends on the numbers of groups, I suppose. I mean, if they are about 2.
Okay. How many groups are you in Leicester?
You mean selling group in Leicester?
How many selling groups in Leicester are you a member of?
Is that to me or to...
To you, Roger. I'm talking to you, direct.
Yeah. I know there is at least one, because I admit it, and I mean there is at least 2, but they're probably more than that.
Yeah, but so how can you add a new starter into 50 local groups for them? Because you have to be in the groups to be able to add them into the group.
Well, yeah, you have to be in the group to add somebody in, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're sponsoring an area where you're not in any of the groups in those areas, you can't help that new person.
I see what you mean, yeah.
You with me? You cannot be in all the groups in all the areas. Whereas if you're in 50 to 150, 200 groups in the Manchester, Liverpool, Bolton, Blackburn area, a new person joins,
then you can add them up.
You can add them to all those groups. So now there's 2 of you advertising in all those groups. But if you've got somebody and you sign them in Leicester and they've just joined Facebook, they can't join 50 groups, can they? Because they'll get banned.
I mean, they have to join 5 groups a day, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. So it's much slower. And you can't help them because you've not joined any of the groups.
Yeah.
You with me? You have to have a strategic...
Yeah, I am with you, yeah. So, yeah, it's so to...
Do you follow me on that, Esther?
Yes.
So how many groups are you in?
42.
42. Brilliant.
All of them are local.
Fantastic.
me.
Okay. So what you need to do.
So, are you from Leicester as well, Esther?
Not far from Leicester.
Not far from Leicester.
No.
I'll tell you now, Leicester's got about 120 groups. Would you say, love?
Yeah, something like that.
I think I'm only in 2 in Leicester.
Yeah, and that's what I say. She's got 42 groups, and to be
Most
honest,
of them are
Colville's only
Colville and Ravenston, Ashby.
Colville's only 10 miles away from Leicester, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're heading more northwards rather than south towards Leicester. Yeah. So if she's on 42, you can imagine we could be in all those 42 groups ourselves. Yeah. And then there's all the Leicester groups, and there's heading towards Market Harborough, heading towards Melton. There's loads. And that's why I say, in your area, you'll probably find there's probably about 500 groups within a 40-mile radius of where you live.
Yeah, that's true, that, because
And that's plenty to be able to build a team from.
Yeah.
And would you go as far as 40 miles away in a group?
I say maximum.
Oh, okay.
No, I was talking about recruitment.
Okay.
Because you need to be in those groups. You want for recruitment
exactly.
adverts. What you want to do is, if you say to me, right, I'm in Colville, I want a person in Derby.
Yeah.
You'll be in about 20 or 30 groups in Derby, and you'll be advertising in those groups to get somebody for recruitment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got 2 types. You've got groups for your personal retail, and you've got groups for recruiting.
Actually, that's a question I wanted to ask, because well, this morning I did the sell camp for my own group, which I was very pleased with. But but otherwise, if I advertise, let's say, for my retail in 50 groups in Bolton, yeah, and I want to put 50 adverts, so will you recommend that you put your 50 adverts in into 50 different groups to where you want to where you're targeting your retail?
Yeah, that's you got the 10 steps group. 10 steps list is all about the retail. Yeah.
The 10 steps. Sorry, say again.
So we say post adverts into 50 groups, 3 a day,
Right.
or 1 a day, or whatever. That's all about retailing.
Right.
That's not about sponsoring.
Right. So I post in 50 specific groups as far as the retail is concerned.
Yes.
I spot in 50 different groups as far as the recruitment is concerned.
Well, you can do both, because the whole idea of you putting in other groups is not necessarily to sell in that group, but to get people to join your group.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll do an interactive posts in your group. Yeah. You'll also do advertising products, and then you also do recruitment adverts.
Yeah.
Because as your group grows, you'll have more people you'll be attracting. It's like the lady who did the training, the lady who was pregnant, Nikki Kaywood. You know, Nikki Kaywood, she did training at the conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, she was pregnant at the time. Now she's pregnant again. And what she did, she built a selling group up to 100,000 people.
Her group.
Her selling group.
Wow.
Yeah. She did whatever needed to be done. Now, if you've got 100,000 people that you're promoting products to, and you're going to find a few people in there who would like to actually join you.
Oh, yeah, more than likely, yeah.
So, you know, there's but you have to be laser focused. If it's too widespread, you can't control it.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, you've signed in somebody in Leicester, you signed somebody up in Sheffield, you signed somebody down in what's that? You've got to be in 50 all those different groups trying to have these people. It becomes unmanageable. When I worked for Office World, okay, we started off, we had head office at Reading. And then we opened a store up in Nottingham. And then we opened a store up in Northampton. Then we opened a store up in Leicester. We then opened another store up in Slough. And then we opened one up in Birmingham. And one up in Sheffield. one up in Bedford, one up in Milton Keynes, and the big thing was that they were all on the M1, down different areas down the M1.
Apart from Birmingham.
Well, Birmingham was on the M6. It was going off, yeah, and then the M40 was where Reading and Slough were. So it was always to do with motorway routes, because the Leicester store could cover a 25-mile radius, which overlapped with the Nottingham store. And on the south, it overlapped with Northampton store. And the Northampton store overlapped with the Bedford store. And then the Derby store was at the top. And then we had Coventry, which overlapped. So it had a circular pattern. And by the end of it, 63 stores covered the UK. If you had 63 distributors in the UK, all frontline to you, all covering a 25-mile radius, that's the ideal thing.
Yeah.
So you start where you are, have a look at a map and say, right, I want 5 distributors within a 40-mile radius. It might be 25-mile radius, it might be a 10-mile radius, whatever. Mike Goff, you may not have heard of him, but you look him up on his Clean Easy. He built 5 gold legs within 10 miles of his home.
Is that one of the top earners or something in
Yes.
this company? Who's that?
Mike Goff. Mike and Dawn Goff.
Martin.
Mike. M-I-K-E. Mike Goff.
Right.
And he built 5 gold legs within 10 miles of his house. All right. The thing is that the internet can distract you. If you were doing it like we were doing it initially, which is going to see people face to face.
I must be honest, I prefer face to face, me.
Yeah, well, you can't do that if you're spreading out all over the place.
No, that's true. I'll just jump in a car and go to Leicester and have a drink.
Yeah. By the way, did you go to the Beck and Kev's training?
Oh yeah, and that's really, really good. And I am going to actually subscribe to his videos and stuff. Yeah.
So you went.
Pardon?
You went.
Yeah, I went this Sunday gone. Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is you've not promoted it at all. That what you got out of it or anything to the group.
Well, yeah, but it's only what's the name? What's the name? I just went yesterday. I spent my 6-7 hours at the hospital today before I came out.
I'm just saying, all you need is just got back from Beck and Kev's group training.
Yeah.
Fantastic, because you should be elated and want to share it.
Yeah.
I would recommend it to everybody. I'll give if you anyone who wants to know more details, I'll let you know, and I'll put a bigger post on in a few days' time.
I'll put the website of it in the.
I know, I saw that. That's why I knew you were going, but I didn't know you'd gone. It's like when you come back from a conference. The first thing you do, you post on, what a great speaker. I got this, I got that, got the other. You with me? Become the leader that people look up to, because then what people say, Roger, do you think it's worth going? Because you've got the experience, you've got more experience than we have in that regards, because we don't know what is involved.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah, I'm completely with you. Yeah. And
it's
then
like here, what I've got Esther, Dave, and Roger. If that was 3 gold legs front line to me, who I'm helping you become leaders, your business are then going to spawn leaders. What I want is the rest of the team to see that you're growing, and that you're very good on the personal speaking now, because you're doing this going to your
with the Toastmasters. Yes, I'm going tomorrow night. Yeah.
So you need to take that and also realise that on the internet, if you're doing something, let people know about it. Yeah.
That's why I'm going to start my Facebook Live on Sunday.
Fantastic.
Coming.
So, Roger's goal before we run out of time.
Well, yeah. No, but you're right. We should promote more, and that's one of the factors that stops some people, because including myself, because we don't promote enough.
Right, I'm down to 2 minutes. So, Roger, what's your retail target?
My retail target with the
next period.
This period.
Next period. We start
next period.
Friday.
But next period, I would like to do more than what I did this period.
Yeah, how much is it?
My retail target, come on, let's be a bit ambitious. £1,200. Yeah.
How much? 1,200.
Mhm.
Okay. And your sponsoring target?
Well, I started to be a bit better at it. Because that's
I'm running out of time. Just give me a figure.
5.
Thank you. Is that signing in or activations?
No, the number 5 came up, so 5, yeah? If I do more, great.
5 sign-ins or 5 activations?
Yeah, 5 sign-in, yeah?
Right.
I mean, but when we got more time between activation and sign-in, I'll have to know what the difference is, yeah.
A sign-in is somebody joining the business. An activation is somebody placing an order. A new
Right.
person placing an order.
Right. So 5 sign-in and 3 activation. Okay, right, okay.
Okay. Esther, if you can have a think about your retail target, and I'll come back to you tomorrow.
Okay.
What's that you got?
Dog.
Is that you? I thought it was a dog.
Oh, lovely.
Sharon, what's your... No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to... All right, ladies and gentlemen. I will send these forms over to you in case you haven't got them.
Yes, please.
All right. And I'll speak to you later.
All right. Thank you.
See you
Thank you
later.
very much. Okay, then. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.